And we're going to begin the evening tonight with the Unit 9 post-lesson assessment for the youth course on forms of compensation and employee benefits. These are the questions that were posed 2 weeks ago. And let's just get right started. So what is your base pay? And what is the difference between a salary and an hourly wage? So a base pay is your guaranteed pay. If you show up to work and you do your job, you get your base pay. The difference between salary and hourly wage. An hourly wage is essentially paying you per hour that you work. A salary is an agreed to amount that you will be paid over the course of a full year, regardless of how many hours that you work. Now, what's interesting about that is a salary is a much more stable means of earning money. Wages, hourly wages, are really capricious to how many hours you're going to get to work for that particular week. So salary, a much more steadier pay per month. Wages fluctuates based off of how many hours you get to work. So how do you compare an hourly wage to a yearly salary? Well, you have to compare their worth over the long term. If you know roughly how many hours you will be working per week on average, you can convert that to a yearly amount and then compare it to the amount that you will receive in 1 year for having a salary. Now, why is knowing if you have overtime pay in your job important? Because overtime, which typically kicks in if you work greater than 40 hours a week, that extra time is compensated at time and a half, meaning that you get 1.5 times your base hourly pay if you work overtime. What is the difference between differential pay versus commissions? So differentials are an increase in your pay because you met certain criteria or circumstances. It's basically a conditional pay raise. They'll oftentimes use it if you take on dangerous jobs, hazardous jobs, or jobs with really, really weird hours that nobody wants. Commission, on the other hand, is a pay based on performance, particularly in a sales or a real estate job. It's basically bounty hunting. You get a bounty for the amount that you sell. So differentials are dependent on the environment in which you work, and commissions are dependent upon the performance in the environment that you have been given. Now, what is the difference between a bonus and a tip? So bonuses are money that are added to your paycheck by your employer to reward excellent work by you. Tips, on the other hand, is money that customers reward you with for good service. So a bonus comes from your employer and tips come from your customers. What is a benefit? Benefits are essentially non-monetary compensations, and they can take many, many, many forms. The federal mandatory benefits, which is of course the next question, those are things such as Social Security contributions, unemployment insurance, and workman's compensation insurance. Voluntary benefits include things such as health insurance, vision and dental, PTO, paid time off, continuing education, or retirement accounts.